There are 101 ways that you can give your Transporter this spring and this season a little bit of a refresh. But let's say you don't want to spend loads of money and you just want to give it a fresh look, a new vibe, a bit more playful, a bit more sporty, a bit more aggressive. One thing you can do really easily and really cheaply is play with colour. And I think behind me is the perfect example of why colour can completely change the vibe of a van. Now, Jordan's beautiful 4Motion TTRC behind me is finished in pure grey. Pure grey is normally married with matte black or black. It looks aggressive, angry, not playful. But this looks striking. It's like it's got a hell of a lot of presence. And my God, doesn't it just look incredibly stunning. I want to walk around the workshop. I want to show you a little bit about what we do and how we do it, and a couple of top tips that you can do to change your van really quickly, really easily for this year's 2025 season. Inside Jordan's beautiful Transporter, you'll notice how we've got our usual refined sort of Platinum Plus interior. But how different does it look with this epic teal? The teal belts, piping and stitching. Now, I'm not saying that piping and stitching is a particularly easy one to retrofit on a budget to your Transporter, but belts are definitely and make a huge difference. Also, look at any of the interior panels that can be unclipped. If you can, for example, take an air vent surround out, or the clock cluster surround out, the door trim handles, these can be changed with either wrap, hydro dip, you can paint them if you like. All really easy, quick fixes to give your van a totally different vibe with your colours. It really is the #1 designer's friend, because you can turn, if this was all in an oxblood, or if we had all of this in camel instead of in this beautiful mid-tone grey, and then we had a black or a silver belt, the interior would just feel so different to what it does now. Testament to how much colour can change. Worth mentioning about using different finishes. So satin, matte, gloss, for example. So if you've got an exterior decal kit from last year that you're now gonna whip off and replace, you're gonna add a little bit of color maybe to the front of your van, you could also then add some different finishes. So if you went gloss before, go satin. This is a really good example of how a satin TTRC and a gloss TTRC look totally different. But can you see what we've done? With this very delicate Indian grey, we've married that up with this lovely satin carbon, and yet with this bold and punchy pure grey, giving it the gloss. It's all a play. Delicate colour tones work beautifully together. Bold colour tones work beautifully together. Getting inspiration for your colourway within your van is going to be probably the hardest thing to do, because you start thinking, right, where do I want my van to be? What do I want it to look like? How do I want it to sit on the road? What does it need to look like at 7:30 on a Saturday evening when I'm on a campsite and having a beer? For example, if you've got a camper or a sleeper or whatever. And also, how is it going to be durability-wise? Because we can go and stick a beautiful pale interior like this in, but if you've got 5 children, a dog, and you're into motocross, this is going to be an absolute pain in the arse. Finding the inspiration for your colours is really tricky. Now, what we always say is, look at the things you like the most that you own. So things in like a kitchen is a great place to look for colours. If you're into red, you might have a red toaster, a red kettle. If you're into your blues, you might have blue tiles and blue placemats and all that kind of stuff. So there are areas in your life where you can always find the colours that you seem to be drawn to. That's only if you find it hard with inspiration. Now, when we're going to go into the workshop, we're going to have a look at some different colours with the same colour over and over again. So pure grey, is like a primer grey, is a really good example, because an awful lot of the pure grey vans you're going to see, especially on the market at the shows, are pure grey and black, you know, because they are like bees in gravy. It looks absolutely incredible. But what happens when you add it with a massive injection of big, bold, vibrant colour? Well, I'm going to show you. Pure grey and tan are one of my absolute favourites. So we leather a lot of our door cards here at Banhaven. Sometimes they're in two-tone, sometimes they've got different stitches. This is just very, very subtle, very discreet, black leather on the top. Instantly, the cab of this van just feels so different. Incredibly light, incredibly airy. When you go and buy a 7 Series BMW, black exterior paintwork, and then you open the door and everything's in cream, that's got a certain vibe to it. Now let's take exactly the same black 7 Series BMW, let's put a black interior in it and park that outside of a really lovely high-end club in Sloane in London. Totally different vibes, all 3 colours, exactly the same product, represents you as a human in a completely different way. So another perfect example of how colour can be used to totally change and level up a VW Transporter. Now, here we've got a short wheelbase Ascot Grey. This is a TTS in the making. On the exterior, we've actually gone, well, it was the customer's choice to go for a slightly more vivid red. So this is a VW GTI red streamer and brake calipers. When this all comes together and is finished, it will look really, really awesome. I think this is actually a van we built about 2 years ago, and it's come in for a little bit of a refresh. I think someone else has purchased it now, and Dan is the owner of those 2 feet. He's currently making all that happen. When doing your upholstery, it's really important to take note of the colours that you have in your van already. So putting a massive colour which isn't anywhere else is brave. Now, if it's not done right, it can look slightly chintzy or out of place or feel slightly confused. So it's really important to bring all the colours that are going to be around that leather interior into said leather interior. If you look at the door cards and the door handle, the rubbers, Dan, the gloss black, there are loads and loads of shade of grey. So grey is a very popular colour when we're dealing with VW Transporters. So when putting an Oxblood seat in, it's really important that we highlight the grey. So we have exactly the same grey as the door cards, double French seams here. This is what we call a dress stitch. We've got the anthracite or the charcoal piping, which is the same colour as said factory plastics. We then marry that up with the seat, and when this is all put together, when it goes into the van, it just looks like it's meant to be there. It's really important that everything looks like it's supposed to be in that position. So that's a really, really good top tip, and I hope that next time you're thinking about doing an upholstery, obviously call us, because we can definitely hook you up with some seriously nice upholstery. It might be worth putting a little bit more thought into the tiny little details, because they make a really, really big difference. Over in the other corner, we have this beautiful, beautiful long wheelbase beast that's getting created currently. Now, we wrap an awful lot of vans. I'm not sure if you saw the reel that happened earlier on in the week with the purple van and the matte black van. Wrapping is such a cost-efficient way to change the entire colour of your van. So if you are not keen on spending a colossal amount of money painting a Bentley green van, for example, like we did a couple of years ago, and you just want to have a quick colour change, something that looks really nice, lasts between 5 and 7 years, and do it cost efficiently, a wrap is a great option. So this particular van, we've gone for a satin grey with a hint of bronze. It's kind of a flippy kind of matte colour. Bloody lovely in the flesh. I hope you can see its depth. And then marry that up with factory OEM copper bronze metallic matte wheels, using those colour tones and finishes to all pop off each other. So we've got a matte overarch kit with matte wheels with matte wrap, but we really want to accentuate the copper bronze, so we've done that in high gloss metallic. So using these really create pops. You've then got that gloss black popping off the gloss black on the mirror, on the windows, and then again satin metallic black optics, and then this beautiful camel to really elevate the interior of this vehicle. Now, when the leather interior is in here, which is top secret, and you will see one day, you will see how it all comes together. So everything is all about colours. It's so important. And it doesn't cost any more to change in colour. It doesn't cost any more to wrap this in camel than it does in black, but it gives a huge, massive vibe change. So, yeah, another little nugget of information for you. So what better example to finish this video with this shot behind? Two pure grey vans, both clad in carbon, both with completely mental, bright, vivid colours and two completely different vibes. I hope it's been useful. I hope that some of the tips and examples of different colours with different tones, with different finishes and so on and so forth can really help you really cheaply make a completely different vibe for this summer and this season when you're out and about in your V-dubs. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you next time.